23-year-old Shannon Lloyd lived in Orange County, California in 1986. She was a tomboy who loved horses and had an adventurous soul. On May 21st, Shannon's body was found inside her bedroom in Garden Grove. She'd been assaulted and strangled. Shannon's older brother, Tom Lloyd, had this to say at the time: "It's hard for me to fathom how anyone could take another person's life like it was nothing and just discard them." Investigators collected male DNA belonging to the suspect from the crime scene. In 2003, authorities linked what happened to Shannon to the cold case of Renee Cuevas. 27-year-old Renee's body was found on a road near El Toro Marine Base in Irvine, California in 1989. When investigators entered the suspect's DNA profile in Shannon's case into the combined DNA index system, they noticed that the same man was responsible for taking the lives of both Shannon and Renee. Unfortunately, his identity could not be determined. In 2021, the Orange County District Attorney's investigative genetic genealogy team identified a Las Vegas man named Reuben J. Smith as a possible suspect. Smith lived in Orange County in the 1980s. He was forced to give his DNA in 1998 after being arrested in Las Vegas for assault and attempting to take a life of a woman. In July of 2022, it was confirmed that the DNA evidence from his arrest matched the DNA found at the crime scene of both Shannon and Renee. Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer said, "Because of the advent of science, there's no case that's cold anymore. Every case is potentially solvable. Justice does not have an expiration date. Whether a crime happened 40 years ago or 4 minutes ago, the residents of Orange County can have confidence that the law enforcement in this county will not rest until justice is served." The loved ones of Renee Cuevas and Shannon Lloyd have the answers to the question they've been asking for more than 3 decades. The third unknown victim of his that survived said, "The evil in him. I know if I didn't fight, I was going to die. It was horrible. The things that he did, the things that he said." Though she was able to fight him off and escape, she said she is still haunted by him. 1 year after being arrested in 1998, Smith took his own life at 39 years old. This is infuriating as the victims' families themselves said that all their questions can't be answered. They know who and where, but not why. Detectives are now looking into the possibility that Smith could be implicated in other cases. Anyone with information about Smith's activity is urged to contact Garden Grove Police Detective T. Ramirez at this number. On July 11, 1983, the body of 41-year-old Linda Lansen was found at the end of Memorial Highway in Tampa, Florida. Investigators said that she had been assaulted, shot in the head, and then dumped in the bushes. Linda was a freelance photographer who grew up in New York and had moved to Tampa as an adult. About a month later, on August 19, 1983, the body of 19-year-old Barbara Grams was found behind a dentist office in the Tampa Heights area. She had also been assaulted before her life was taken. Barbara was described as a friendly, outgoing teenager from Tampa who had a job at the mall and liked to walk to stay fit. A man by the name of Robert Dubois soon became a suspect in Barbara's case. He was convicted because a bite mark analysis expert said that Robert was responsible for a bite mark on Barbara's face. Dubois denied any involvement and contacted the Innocence Project. In 2020, with the help of advancements in DNA and the Conviction Review Unit, Dubois was exonerated after spending 37 years in jail for a crime he did not commit. The Conviction Review Unit then went on to do more DNA testing to see who was responsible for taking the life of Barbara Grams. After further DNA testing, they realized that not one man was responsible, but 2. They also determined that these 2 were responsible for many crimes in the Tampa area in 1983. The 2 men is 58-year-old Amos Robinson and 57-year-old Abron Scott. They took the lives of both Barbara Grams and Linda Lansen. They are already serving life sentences, but investigators want to make sure that their crimes against Barbara and Linda do not go unpunished. Investigators are working hard to find other crimes that Robinson and Scott is responsible for. Linda Sheffield, who was Linda Lansen's niece, close friend, and roommate, had this to say: "When it happened, it was shock and disbelief, whereas now it's more retrospective. This is a day I never thought would come. So to have somebody accountable for what they did, not only to my aunt, but to everyone else and every other family they touched, is beyond anything I would have expected. It means everything to me. State Attorney Andrew Warren, who announced the 2 indictments in August 2022, said, "When we created the Conviction Review Unit, it was the first in Tampa Bay and one of the first in Florida. The CRU reviews plausible claims of innocence. It's there to safeguard against wrongful convictions. As we see today, in the rare case when the wrong person is convicted, the actual criminals get away with the crime. But for those victims, that stops now." This shows the power of a conviction review unit to right wrongs, uncover the truth, and deliver justice for victims, even after almost 40 years. 22-year-old Christine McWhorter and her 31-year-old aunt, Beatrice Daniels, were fatally shot between 6 p.m. January 2nd and 11:50 a.m. January 3rd, 2009, in their apartment at the Chestnut Terrace housing complex in Huntington County, Pennsylvania. The women were both shot in the head. Christine's 4-month-old daughter and 4-year-old son were left behind in the apartment. Neighbors discovered the women's bodies after the 4-year-old son asked them for help. Droplets of blood were taken into evidence from the crime scene by investigators. The initial DNA report concluded blood collected from the stairs and interior doors of the apartment were all deposited from an unidentified male. Over the years, as DNA advanced, a DNA profile of the suspect could be created using the droplets. On March 14, 2016, Trooper David Clemens submitted the DNA profile to DNA Solutions. They then forwarded it to Parabon Nanolabs based in Reston, Virginia. Parabon Nanolabs used the DNA to create an image of what the suspect might look like. It showed a black male with brown to black hair, medium to light complexion, and green or hazel eyes. On July 12, 2018, Trooper Dana Martini contacted Tom Shaw, a certified forensic artist and employee for Parabon Nanolabs. He was asked to conduct a genetic genealogy analysis of the DNA recovered at the crime scene. On October 9, 2018, Parabon provided a report on the genetic genealogy of the DNA and identified Mariko Johnson as a potential match. Johnson's appearance also matched with the image of the suspect they had created. Investigators found that Christine was acquainted with Johnson's then-girlfriend, Cynthia Swan. Investigators interviewed Johnson for the first time at his home on December 12, 2019. Johnson admitted that he knew Christine and Beatrice because of Cynthia, but denied ever setting foot in Christine's home. Johnson provided investigators with a DNA sample via swab of his mouth. The sample was then sent off for analysis by the State Police Lab in Harrisburg on December 19, 2019. On January 3, 2020, the lab reported that Johnson's DNA matched blood evidence found on the stairs and interior doors of the crime scene. Investigators then compared Johnson's time card to the estimated time that Christine and Beatrice's lives were taken. On January 22, 2020, the state police received time cards from Johnson's then employee, the New York Department of Corrections, which confirmed he was off work January 2, 2009, and started his January 3rd shift at 7 a.m. State police estimate the time it takes to travel the 294 miles between Christine and Beatrice's home and Johnson's then workplace is 4 hours and 43 minutes. Police checked to see if Johnson had access to a .25 caliber firearm, the type used to shoot Ms. McWhorter and Ms. Daniels. On January 23, 2020, troopers Thomas and Martini interviewed the suspect's half-brother, Carol Brodus Johnson Jr. of Connecticut, who told the officers he thought his late father owned a .25 caliber and that Mariko Johnson inherited their father's belongings when he passed away in 1998. Thomas and Martini interviewed Cynthia Swan, Johnson's ex-girlfriend, February 21, 2020, and learned from Swan that she was originally supposed to travel with Christine from Philadelphia to Mount Union on January 1, 2009, and stay for the weekend, but decided at the last minute to remain in Philadelphia with the man, Benjamin June. Swan told troopers it was around this time Johnson found out Swan was having an affair with June. Police say the last incoming text on Christine's cell phone was from Swan, asking Christine to call her. Police say Christine did not respond to Swan's text. On July 28, 2020, Thomas and Martini spoke with Robert Sean Spade, the father of Christine's oldest child. Spade told the troopers he visited Christine, Beatrice, and the children the evening of January 2, 2009. Spade reported the women kept the apartment very clean and that he didn't observe blood-like drops anywhere in the apartment and that it was unlike them to leave a spill or mess. In May of 2022, 47-year-old Mariko Tyrone Johnson was arrested in Newport News, Virginia, and charged with taking the lives of Christine and Beatrice. He will soon be transported to Pennsylvania by state police to face charges against him.